Okay, all right. What else is on here? Okay. Well, I said I had a lot to talk about, but I'm really realizing it's just a bunch of dumb, cutesy shit that, like, because I was in love all weekend, so I was like, and throughout the week also. Threw it.
Big Trouble in Little China.
What was it? What was that? Did you talk about it on the show yet? The fact that you drove in an Uber with a dude who was like full-blown flat Earth guy. Oh
yeah.
Did you talk about that here?
I don't think we did I? Oh dear heavens! I totally forgot about that.
There's still flat Earth people, and they're down to talk.
This guy was he seemed like a reasonable, rational, like sober individual who like he was articulate.
What music was playing?
This is Ice-T.
This guy...
Ice-T stuck his head in the window for a second, and he drove away. Ice-T,
sorry, I can see you're busy. I'm going on a coffee run. Oh.
You guys are going...
I left
like an ice cream truck or something.
This was a month and a half or 2 months ago, probably, right? I left the Harmontown here, and I got into a lift, and the dude had... Sometimes people put their Waze, their phone, like on the dash or on suction cups at the window or up in their visor or different places.
Where else? Are there other places?
Sometimes, and their passengers' big titties because.
Oh yeah.
Because it keeps the chafing on the neck. So he had another screen up. He had a big like one of those giant Samsung-y like big ones, and I'm talking about his dick. No, he had a screen up in the visor, and when I got in, it was clearly like, kind of like talk radio, but like with visuals. Like there was like just pictures, and it was guys talking about science stuff, and he kind of not like rushed to turn it off, but he like I got in the car, he got to the destination, and he turned it off. I'm like, what was going on there? He had like some planets and space. He's like, yeah, like it's it's a science thing I listen to. Oh, I like science. Like we started talking about stuff, and it was revealed at one point that he is a flat Earth believer, flat earther. Is there a name for it? Oh. And so he's like, the whole thing is a lie. The Earth is flat. And I was like, but okay, well, has it? So I tried to come at that citadel wall, like like through the front gate, over the top, like tunnel under it.
Yeah, because you don't want to be a dick, but you're fascinated.
I was super fascinated. And also, he was a pleasant guy. And I wish I could remember all of the details, but like I was saying, like, but like when you've seen, like, do you believe we went to the moon? He goes, oh, we did go to the moon. That's also flat.
That's fucking amazing.
That was like the fourth.
So most flat Earth people, from what I've read online, they think that they also are moon hoax people.
I was saying, what do you think happens if you walk in a straight line? And he goes, we don't know because the polar ice caps are there. That they're there to keep us from falling off. I go,
so this guy...
what if we walk around the equator where there are no... He's like, but there's no such thing. There's no such thing as that.
But this guy, hardcore environmentalist. That's the crazy thing too, is that he's like he agrees. If you're dumb enough, you're fucking liberal.
Yeah.
That's great. That's what we gotta do. We gotta deny education to conservatives until they become flat earthers and believe that the ice caps are keeping their children dry.
So,
like or I'm sorry, not dry, because what they believe is that if the polar ice caps melt, all the water will fall off the edge of the Marble Madness level that we live on.
So I asked him about, what do you think creates gravity if not that swirling iron core, and he goes, he had not a good answer, but he had an answer. And it was preposterous and lunatic, but he laid it out nice and simple. He talked like as level-headed as...
Big turtle.
It's a big turtle. Gamma.
Big turtle.
I said, all right.
Big turtle keeping the water down.
If you believe that we walked on the moon as human beings, and we took photos, do you believe those photos? He goes, yeah. I go, how come you can only see part of that flat disc? How come you can only see Africa, or you can only see a certain continent at once? And again... He said, well, that's the photos. Or that. He goes, that's a good question, because here's what I'll tell you why. And then he started making this other weird shit that goes, I go, when you go high enough in a plane or a spaceship that you can see the curvature of the Earth. He goes, no, that's just because the lenses and the cameras are curved.
The Beastie Boys video theory.
So then I said,
so what you want?
What you want? Intergalactic. So I said, and I laid down something that when I was like drunk and high and talking to Professor Brian Cox about I said gravity and all this stuff. I explained what we know what it does, but do we really know what it is? And he goes, well, it's like or like space time and stuff like that. He goes, we're talking about space time, and he goes, gravity curves things in the same way that like if you're walking on a curved surface like our planet, if you and I stood in a straight line along the equator, like 100, kilometers apart, and we both had a compass, and we walked due north, we would eventually meet. We would eventually touch. We would think that we were both walking perfectly straight, and we were. And if you didn't know that the world was round, you would think that there was some weird force acting upon you. It's just the simple curved nature of space-time and planets and anything that has curvature to it. So I was like, if you and I stood on, like, if you and I, like, if I could come up with the money where you and I could, like, do this experiment where we drove, like, 100 miles apart and had compasses and walked around, he goes, let's do it. Let's do it.
I love that this guy's down for anything but research. He's like, he'll get on a plane and, like, meet you.
What made
but
him...
he won't crack a book.
Did you ask him what made him, like... stop believing it, or did he never believe it?
I think somebody turned him on to this idea that we've all been lied to the whole time. It's all been this big bunch of baloney. And I was like, but who's putting that myth forward? And we're like, who's making money off that?
Yeah, that one. This is the heroic one, because that one's got it.
You're just making money. The big globe lobby.
Like he's, as far as I know, unless somebody tells me different, he's really not hurting anybody. And in fact, that whole polar ice cap thing, that guy wants the polar ice caps to stay there more than we do. And so really, he's really not hurting anybody unless he thinks what keeps the Earth flat is hitting children or something.
At what point?
But the crazy thing to me is like, that, unlike the climate change denying like kind of things or whatever, the vaccination crap, this is a guy who, like, he has a belief system that is actually incredibly difficult. I would think, like you would, like, it's not like it's beyond like he has to fucking protect that thing with a.
The thing is, like, you couldn't say anything that seemed to me logical that ever got through. Like his force field of what he believed in.
Do you think whenever he's like at a movie, and the Universal logo comes on, he's like, here we go again. Bullshit! Turn it off!
That's why he only goes to DreamWorks movies. That kid is sitting on a flat.
Right. Yes, finally.
Yeah.
Universal.
He's a flat movier.
But
here we go.
It's a point where close-mindedness.
Not me, buddy. I'm not.
That guy's so you
take it down the road.
Yep. You have to actually open your mind a bit to get that close-minded. Like that's not like he had to one day. Somebody had to say to him, there's some people who believe the Earth is flat, and he had to be like, there has to be some story where he's like, yeah, but fuck those people. And then some spider bit him or something, and he was like, maybe not fuck those people. Like, he delivered one of their flat babies in an elevator. I was like, it's human. Something happened to him where he was like, maybe the Earth is flat.
When I got to my destination, I didn't get out of the car. We talked for maybe 5-8 minutes. I was like, I have so many. We have to keep talking. But he's like, I'd love to. I'm like, keep the meter running. He's like, no, I already turned it off. Like, let's just talk about it.
He was really heroic thing.
He goes, what's your hang up? I'm like, it's like you're a lunatic. And he's like, what? I'm like, I take that back. You're not a lunatic. Like, but this is a lunatic idea for me. And he's like, you have been fed a bunch of lies. And it's all a bunch of lies. I was like, but why? How do you start? Like, exactly. How do you?
And was this Lyft or Uber? People are.
This was Lyft.
Okay, so there you go. So that means he's got a podcast.
On the way there, I said, I'm like, Are you using Google Earth Maps or Waze? When he goes, I'm using Waze. I'm like, how do you think GPS works? If it's flat, you can't. Jesus Christ.
What about you could go to the beach and see the ocean, and you can see it curving just with your own naked eyes. You can see the curve of the beach.
That's an optical illusion.
Well, then so is anything. Like, you could just say, you
guys can hang out. You guys can hang out?
I would respond to that and say, well, if the Earth is round, how come everything seems so flat? Like, the answer is just, I would just say... Like,
but I get that, but if you could see it curving, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I can see it flatting. And the answer is, well, it's a matter of scale, and it's different shit happens. I want to get in there, man. I want to be one. I want to be a doomsday prepper and a flat earther.
I was like, a couple of things. There was one I was like, okay, if the Earth is flat, on a clear day, if we had a really good telescope, wouldn't we be able to see Mount Everest and everything else, like the Eiffel Tower? Like he's like, no, he had all this stuff. It was crazy.
Clouds.
My biggest regret about this whole thing is that right when you get out of the car, I was like, why didn't I invite him on Harmontown?
Yeah,
because it would have been awesome, and not to mock him.
No, of course not. We would have fucking.
I'd mock him.
We would have. But you wouldn't mock him. You would question him.
That shit's dumb, man.
But you wouldn't bully him. There's no need. You would.
I don't know.
You would question him.
You can't just say, you can't just have an answer. You could come up with lie answers for anything and not, have to prove anything. Okay, well, just
let's make Spencer be a.
Sure.
Hollow Earther.
All right.
Hey, if the Earth is hollow, how come there are holes?
Because it spins.
What?
It keeps the shape that way.
When you wait, well, I don't. I'm supposed to poke holes, right? Like I'm supposed to I don't know what the exercise became.
You're trying to ask hard-hitting,
right? I'm trying to disprove hollow Earth theory. Well, I don't really know anything in common day that I can point at that.
That's because the government.
All right.
See, it's easy. You could just say anything. Unless someone has a ruler or something, you can't go out and disprove it. It's true.
We blew it. I blew it, but not.
Do you want? How about Sasquatch? Do you want something else?
Sure. Hey, how come we haven't found Sasquatch skeletons?
Because they've been hiding them.
Who's they?
The Sasquatches.
Why are they hiding them?
Because that's literally all they do is hide things.
They hide skeletons.
They're
and
not
other
called
stuff?
Sass-paraders.
Yeah, they hide the skeletons.
Where?
In the beach.
The beach?
Why the beach?
Because people think they're whale bones. It's fucking easy. You just say anything.
All right. Spencer. Let's have Spencer pretend he's someone who believes in the electoral system of the United States. So how come if I live in New York, where 9/11 happened, my vote counts for way less than if I live in Wyoming?
Because every state gets to determine that.
Well, how come how come we can't just use the technology to pick the president now?
You could. You just have to vote to make that happen. That's the biggest argument about the Electoral College. It's like, it's broken, then fucking vote for it, assholes. It's stupid.
How come all the presidents are either rich people, politicians, or people that knew rich people or politicians?
Because that's what it takes. Yeah. That's the system that the forefathers wanted. They didn't just want anyone to be president.
It's true, they didn't.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone was president, a disaster could happen. They'd just pick some douchebag from a reality show and pizza commercials. I mean, God, mob rule can't happen, or else. I love it. I love what's happening.
It's really
we're not celebrating the total collapse of the Republican Party. We're just being afraid that Trump's going to get elected, but we're not noticing that the fucking Republican Party.
I don't think it's the collapse of anything. I think it's us blossoming into a weird, shitty flower that was always coming along.
It's It's kind of neat. I said a lot of crappy stuff about the bipartisan system as if it was always going to continue and there was no way for it to ever change. But it's not necessarily going to make things better. But at least we're looking at like a kind of it's definitely a shaky year for the bipartisan system.
They still have the legislature though. They still got that legislature.
Yeah, where the shit really happens.
That's the trick. That's what they've realized. They think that if they lose the nomination, they can still win back legislation and still win that way.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I really don't have a lot more. That's getting scary. What's going on in Venezuela? I don't know. Okay. Seems rough.
What do you got? What do you think is going on in Venezuela?
Some kind of horrible apocalyptic economic and health collapse.
Okay.
Of their entire system. Like there's like a state of emergency.
Dan, that's what they want you to think.
Just follow the money. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Venezuela. I don't think they're listening. I think something horrible has happened where they're in the dark ages.
Is anybody here legitimately into like don't come up just because you want to be on stage? Is anybody here like into something like flat Earth, hollow Earth, chemtrails, like stuff like that? Like really is a firm ass believer?
Firm ass.
A firm ass.
You believe in
nice,
firm ass?
You believe, but you got a nice tight ass.
It just seems like a loaded thing. Like yeah, somebody's gonna go. Oh, if I squint real hard, I can be into Bigfoot. And then they come up and they're like, so Bigfoot. And we're like, really? Bigfoot? And they're like, okay, maybe medium-sized foot. And we're like, yeah. I'm proud of you guys for not volunteering. Thank you. But
I'm proud of you, Jeff, for asking, though.
But also, I have nothing to talk about. So thank you for trying.
I let you down with Sam Elliott. I'm trying to help.